Hello, everyone. This is day one of our virtual VBS. We're going to start with the story of Joseph from the Old Testament. And this will be part one. It's such a long story that we're actually going to do 3 nights of this story. Joseph and his family are what we will start with. This is found in the book of Genesis, the very first book of the Bible. Chapters 37 and 39 are what we're going to tell you about today. And our Bible point for today, and the theme of this story, is to trust God. Okay. So this starts with a man named Jacob. And as the story starts, he's old, and he has a lot of children, 12 sons. And of these 12 sons, he has a favorite. And his favorite is named Joseph. He loved his son Joseph so much that he made him a coat with all sorts of colors on it. And this is very rare back in Bible times to have such a fancy coat. So he gave Joseph this coat, and Joseph was really happy to get it. He's like, wow, I have got this amazing coat. And so he went after he got this coat on, which is a little tricky with this puppet. He went off to his brothers. If it fits mostly, that's fine. And his brothers are tending the sheep. And here are his 11 brothers. And they see this lovely coat that their father has given him. Well, what do you think they thought about that? Were they happy for him? Actually, they were kind of jealous. They thought, well, that isn't very fair. He gets his fancy coat and we don't. So that starts the jealousy. But then, not long after that, Joseph has some unusual dreams. So, he has to move our brothers out of the way. And Joseph is in bed, and he has a dream. And this one is he's bundling grain in the fields with his family, his brothers. And his bundle of grain, this nice big bundle of grain, is being bowed down to by 11 other bundles of grain. And he tells his brothers that story, and they think, oh, that's a weird dream, and that doesn't sound very good. We wouldn't be bowing down to you. And he has another dream. This time, the sun bows down to him, and the moon bows down to him, and 11 stars bow down to him. And he tells his brothers that dream. And his dad's there even when he tells them this. And even his dad's like, what kind of dream is that? You know, that sounds like we're going to bow down to you. Is that what it means? That they're not very happy with him. That they think that he is, trying to say he's better than they are, or something like that. So, those are his 2 unusual dreams. And now he's told his family about them, and so the brothers are kind of even more jealous and more angry at him. So one day, they're all out in the field with the sheep again. And the brothers are, deciding, we're out here alone with Joseph. Hey, there's this big well over here. Let's throw him down in that well and get rid of him. So that's what they do. He gets thrown into the well, and he thinks he's going to be left there. But along comes a Midianite slave trader, and he's walking through the area, and the brothers recognize, wait a minute, we could sell our brother. That'll get rid of him, and then we'd make money. So that's what they decide to do. They get him out of the well, and they offer him up to be sold to this trader who's on his way to Egypt. Now, all of these guys live in the land of Canaan, and this guy is on his way to Egypt, which is about 265 miles away. That is very far away. Remember, there's no trains or airplanes or cars or anything like that. They're going to walk. So he gets tied up, and they take the coat, because they're not going to let him keep that. And they get the money, and off to Egypt go the slave trader with Joseph. Now at this point, Joseph is probably thinking, wow, I went from being Dad's favorite son and all was great to being thrown in a well and now being sold to go off to a foreign land. This is a really bad situation. This is probably extremely upsetting to him. But do you think God saw what was happening? Well, of course, God sees everything. And he knows everything. And he did see what was happening to Joseph. And it turns out it was actually a good thing that he got sold and went to Egypt. But we'll find out that part of the story later. So Joseph is taken off to Egypt. And so he goes out of the picture for the moment, and we'll talk about what happens with the brothers. Now, they've sold him, and they know that Joseph is Jacob's favorite son. So they got to come up with a story. They're like, what? We can't be the ones to blame here. All right? They're all going to get in trouble if that's the case. So they decide to go up to Jacob, and they tell a lie about what happened. They say that a wild animal attacked them, and Joseph was brave and fought the wild animal, but in the process he was killed. And all that's left is his coat. What do you think Jacob felt about that? This is his favorite son. He was devastated. He was devastated. He was so sad. He was happy, of course, he still had his other son, but he missed his very, very favorite Joseph. So he's extremely sad, but the brothers are not to blame because he doesn't know that they're actually the ones who sold him. He also doesn't know that Joseph is actually alive, just then going off to another country. So the brothers and Jacob go on about their lives. But we're following Joseph in this story. So Joseph, we'll bring back our slave trader with Joseph, arrives in Egypt. And the slave trader knows that there's a man there named Potiphar, who is a high-ranking official in the palace. And he's really rich, and he needs another slave for his household. And so he is the one who buys Joseph. And, oh, I need a stand for him. So he gets bought by Potiphar, and he makes his way up in the household. He gets first, beginner's duties. But as he shows himself to be an honest man and somebody who can take responsibility and do a good job, even though he's a slave, he gets moved up in the household as far as responsibilities and duties. And through this whole time, he is following our Bible point here, trusting God. He's trusting that God's going to take care of him, protect him, even though he's in this foreign land and as a slave right now. So he's doing the best he can. And he gets to be actually in a really good spot in this man's household. Even though he's a slave, he's being treated really well. And things are going very nicely for him. Now, I should mention, at the time that this is happening, when he got thrown in the well and sold, he was 17 years old. So he's a teenager, not an adult yet. But he's going to be now living quite a few years in Egypt. So he is in this household. But at this time, this man's wife, all right, Potiphar's wife, kind of has it in for Joseph. And she ends up telling lies about him, saying things, that he did bad things that he did not do, he's not guilty of. But, of course, the husband, Potiphar, believes his wife over Joseph. And because he thinks that Joseph has done some bad things, he's not going to stand for that, and he decides to throw Joseph in jail. So, put myself over here. So that's what happens to poor Joseph. He goes from being treated really well in this nice household. He was a slave, but, oh, do you want to get his little handcuffs over there? He had lies told about him, and now he's off in jail. So that's what we're going to end. This video is with him in jail, but through it all, remember, he is trusting God to take care of him, even though this is a very bleak situation. He knows God is with him. God sees everything. He knows everything. And even though bad things happen, God has the power power to turn them into good. And we're going to find that out in our next video. Once we see, we're going to say goodbye to Joseph, sitting alone in the jail in the dark.